So my name is Lisa Gozashti, and I am a co-owner of the Brookline Booksmith, a successful store that's just about to celebrate its 60th anniversary in November. And I've been there for 22 years. I've done lots of other things with my life. I'm a student of philosophy and literature. I had my own design business for a number of years. And now I work in the world of independent bookselling, which I love more than anything. And I'm a community builder. That's part of the work that we do at the Brookline Booksmith as well.
Can you tell us a little about Brookline Booksmith?
So the Brookline Booksmith is an incredible institution that was founded in 1961 by a Smith family who had a kind of radical idea at that time in the early 60s of making paperback books readily available to everyone. At that time, books weren't so much a thing, and Marshall Smith was one of the pioneers in terms of kind of radicalizing the way we have access to literature. And he set up our store. So it was, in the old days, the books were sort of just characterized by publisher. It was not the intuitive thing that it is today, where you go by category, whether it's memoir or fiction, and you find books based on the author. It used to be much more formal and kind of stodgy and inaccessible. And he was one of the people that wanted to make it more accessible. And we have continued that impulse that he had, which was like essentially a real democracy. Like, we think we're booksellers, but we also work in all these other planes. And so we think of ourselves as being people who honor a world of diversity and plurality and a real democracy, which is that everyone has the right to speak, no matter who they are. And we represent all voices, global. And so we're always pushing further to represent more voices, or to find voices that we may not have heard, whether it's voices of disability or, the Sami population in Norway, or wherever voices are that have not had the light, have not had a chance to speak freely and be heard. That's our job, is we think of it like we have a forest essentially, and we want to represent all the populations that exist in that forest, and let it be a place where people can wander, and they're not obliged, to buy anything or, give us anything in return. We just want them to have the experience of being able to discover at their leisure the world that we all inhabit together.
Yeah, I recall there being a quote on your About page of like how a customer was saying that you hold the community together. We
do a tremendous amount of philanthropic work every year. We raise tens of thousands of dollars for local organizations, whether it's the Brookline Food Pantry or the Brookline Teen Center or the Brookline Mental Health Center. We really try to give back and nurture the community that has nurtured us and cared for us so much since our founding. So we're like a very integrated, mission-bound institution that is very humble, and our borders are quite porous. We're always open to what the new day holds.
And would you say that it's the philanthropic work and like this porous environment that allows you to maintain such a close sense of bonding with your community?
I mean, that's one, it's multiple components, but that's one component. The other component is that we're always there, day or night. We're highly responsive. We're there because our customers are there, and we know that that's why we have an existence, is because of them. So we have a very respectful and honoring relationship with our public. We always say that our customers co-create the space that we are. So I think it's that too, that we're just like right here at the ready in the neighborhood, looking out, like saying, how can we help you? What is it that you need or desire today? What are your concerns? What can we be for you? How can we be better? Help us understand what we can do together. So it's that kind of reciprocity that we build ourselves upon. We respond to what we receive. on a daily basis.
What does it take for you to always stay ahead and always to get like those books from wherever they come from on the shelf? Like, could you walk us through that process?
Sure. So we have an incredible team. We have 40 employees. So we have an incredible team of highly trained, dedicated, gifted booksellers and buyers who are behind the scenes, looking in all the possible ways, whether they're working with publishers, independent authors, community members. They're always sort of on the receiving end of what's happening in the world of literature and the world of books. So there's a huge team. We have an amazing event series. They're also working independently on their own to represent all sorts of voices. So they're like at the gates, kind of incoming gates, for everything that's like publicized in terms of what's happening in the world, whether it's, like I said, through publishing or new independent authors. But then we also train our booksellers to listen to every single person who comes through the door, and to convey those messages. So if somebody comes in and says, there's a new book by a poet that was just published in England, and it's the first time this has ever happened, and I really need this book. Is there any time it's going to come out into the United States? How can we get access to this? We will figure that out for them. We will look it up online. We'll take half an hour to figure out what the obscure book is. It might be just like a paper copy that they wrote themselves, but it went viral on someone's Instagram post, and then we figure it out. And we will help them. We'll say, hey, maybe a publisher's going to pick this up, and we will get your name and number. And as soon as this is available in English here for you in the American market, we will have that for you. We have a bunch of antenna basically that we're always trying to lean into whatever information that we have, and we hold it sacred. We have a philosophy where we never use the word no, or I'm sorry, no. We always try to get to yes. So we take every scrap of information, and even if after a half an hour of investigation, we find out that the book the person wants is absolutely out of print, but we can document the fact that in 1968, it formally went out of print. They have an answer, and it's a beautiful thing, and they're sorry, and now they can find it at their local library, but they aren't told that they're crazy or stupid. They figured out, we do the research to help them figure out it was a beautiful book, and for whatever reason it went out of print. You can find it at your local library. There's an interlibrary loan service that happens right around the street. So it's very rewarding, because most often we find the thing, they leave with that book, or they leave having placed a special order, and they have that thing that's really sacred to them. That's going to change the way they think about who they are or what their life is in that moment.
Right. So what pushes you to really take that extra step and say, like, no, we're not going to say no. We're not going to take the easier way out.
We take that really, really seriously. We call it the better than expected customer experience that we pride ourselves on. We've been doing that for decades. And the reason why we do it is because we want every person who comes through the door to know that their intelligence and experience is being respected. We want to do that, and that's good for us because we learn so much along the way. We find all those books that they were looking for. We figure out that we should have had them in our door a long time ago. We don't know why we didn't. They slipped through the cracks. Like, we need this. And so we benefit from all of that investigation. We become better. We're not going to look at you like you're stupid or crazy, or you don't have enough information, or our time is more valuable than yours, or anything like that. We're going to try to understand. We want the information as much as you do, because we have the ability to be benefited by that. We're going to find this obscure, mystic from the 12th century that wrote a beautiful book that somehow we missed, and we should have in our religious studies section. It's going to be really awesome.
What is the most rewarding part of the job?
Being in the company of people who are living an examined life, that we're all it's very clear that all of us are on a journey, and that we are seeking, something that's greater than ourselves, and that we are receptive and appreciative and grateful for all of the things that come together to make us who we are. There's like a feeling of humility, and also just, I think it's like seeking. It's like there's such a feeling of people having open minds, like nobody is fully formed. We're all learning every day. There are so many things that we don't know. When you're in a bookstore that has, 90,000 titles or whatever it happens to be today, it's more than that. You know you're small and the world is much bigger than you, and all the people that come in, each one has thousands of points of experience that you will never have in your own life, but you get the benefit in a single moment of interaction with them of their years of experience wherever they come from around the world, because we live in a very global community and we benefit from people's experiences from all over the world. So many languages are spoken in our community. And there's just so many points of reference that it feels like a real privilege. And it just feels like being part of, something, civilization, something that's thousands of years old. I mean, I'm selling books that have been around and in print for a long, long time. Heraclitus, the Bhagavad Gita, like these ancient texts that have been informing people since they came into existence, and it just feels sacred, and it feels like a privilege